Welcome to Loudmouth Radio with Phil and Dee.
They got together and swore a pact to the devil.
News and commentary not involving the Kardashians or Miley Cyrus.
If I see George Bush, I'll kick his motherfucking ass for cutting my Medicaid.
Political debates.
Crime, I'm conservative. Prostitution, I'm liberal.
Dick jokes.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook.
Boobs in your face.
I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it.
Info on how you can be an activist.
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Are you just going to keep talking?
More boobs in your face.
Oh, my gosh.
We don't need no education. What we need is a radio station. And now,
Loudmouth Radio.
I could have made it from not intro. I decided against it. Hey, welcome to Loudmouth Radio. I'm Dee. Phil should be there. Phil, are you here?
I'm here.
Yay! Phil, people might know from some sort of band that's been around for a little while and whatever else. But we're here to do what? What do you want?
We're here to talk. We're here to talk politics, and we're here so that way I can show you how wrong you are.
That's bullshit. It's the wrong. You got it so wrong right now. Well, you know, when it comes down to it, though, I agree with the vision, the idea of what we could be. I just don't think we're there yet. I always say libertarians are on step 25. The rest of America is on step 4. So, and the only way to get there is through a liberal government. So suck it. That's all I'm saying.
No. Because the liberal government requires force to enforce their perspective.
That's your perception. That's your perception. I swear to God.
Well, no, hold on. No. It's not my perception, and this is a great way to start it out. I'm getting a bunch of echo through Skype, so let me see if I can deal with this.
Okay.
Let's see here.
See if I can help.
Can you hear that?
I don't have any echo.
If you're listening right now, this is the first time that we're trying to do this, so technical difficulties abound.
Right, and then I'm going to edit it out, so all of you listening are getting a rare nugget of fuck up. Wait a minute, no, that's going to happen all the time. So let's just
try this.
Echo,
How's this?
echo.
Oh, I figured it out. I just turned off the link out of my browser.
Oh, dude, look at that rookie mistake.
Well, you know, I'm not into the whole broadcasting live. I'm usually into the broadcasting when I feel like it and feeling like answering later.
I put the broad in broadcasting.
All right, so do you want to go ahead and dive into what we were talking about just a minute ago before the technical difficulties?
Do you want to? Let's go ahead. Let's do it. How you're the libertarian vision,
right.
Which I love. I love it. I think it's great. It's just completely unrealistic.
Well, it's every bit as unrealistic as positive results from socialism or from communism.
Wow.
So take it easy there.
Sorry.
Take it easy. Okay, if we're going to set this on a tone where we're going to go ahead and hear the other person's perspective, snorting is not a good way to start, to set the tone here, all right?
That syndrome, I'm sorry.
Miss, I want to tell you how to live your life.
Fuck off. I could give a shit. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you know what? You can give a shit, but then you vote like you do give a shit, and then shit happens that other people don't like. So, anyways.
I know. Go ahead.
All right, so a libertarian, because people mistake what libertarianism is. They believe that the Koch brothers or the Koch brothers, or however you pronounce it, they're the epitome of libertarianism, and they're not. I'm sure they believe in a lot of libertarian perspectives because considering their assets, they have a large influence on government. So they're going to say, oh, well, I like to not have limitations on what I can do. And my perspective is they shouldn't have limitations on what they can do with their money or with their influence. What there should be limitations on is how much government can influence you, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of your social situation.
But
if you have a government that doesn't have the
hold on here. If all right, so you're saying that regardless of whatever money they make, or regardless of whatever is going on with anything else, they should be able to use their money to influence whatever they want because they have that amount of money. That gives them the right to pump their money into whatever they want to do, even if that money is going to an elected representative. Really?
Well, no, but yes, I do think that. But there is. Listen, no, you have to take it easy, and you have to get through the whole idea, because it's not just one part of an idea. Because if you take one part of an idea, you can make it seem like it is a negative situation.
But it used
if
to
you
be
hear the whole idea,
only landowners could vote. That used to be a whole thing. You could only vote if you own land, and we decided that was wrong, right? Because it made it where only a select group of people could do that.
Well, no, or if you own a business.
Right. Listen, I don't think it should be that way. Okay, go ahead. That's a good difference to point out. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so back to the things that I was saying about the Koch brothers, because this comes into the Citizens United thing that we had polled people on the internet and said, hey,
right.
What do you think about this? I personally think that the Supreme Court made the right decision when it comes to Citizens United, because if you have if you have made money, and you have been able to be successful in whatever your business is, the money that you've made are assets, right? I mean, everyone understands that if you produce things, whether it be a bank account or whether it be a bunch of really expensive guns, because I know you want to go there later, or if it's whatever it is, you have put in effort to produce something, and you've used the fruits of that labor to purchase assets or whether it be holding in the bank or whatever. So if you want to go ahead and if you have a political perspective and you want to use those assets to buy TV time or buy newsprint time or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that.
Don't you think this is a way to give corporations more power, though? Because, let's be honest. And I hate it just as much as you do when a liberal brings up the Koch brothers in an argument online. I hate it. But the reality is, they're kind of right.
It could be the Koch brothers, or it could be the Koch brothers, or it could be George Soros. It doesn't matter which side it is.
Right.
It's about authoritarianism, and it's about using it. It's about if someone has a bunch of money and they want to go ahead and put political ads up, that's fine. But the thing is, the government shouldn't have, the federal government shouldn't have enough power to really influence your life. Because if they don't have favors to sell, then there's nobody going to be showing up to buy the favors.
Mm. The way you use the way you word the word influence there, I have a problem with, because I don't know what you mean by influence. I don't know what you're saying about that. And for me, putting a limit on how much one person can pay to a representative, because they're paying them off. Phil, they're paying for their votes on certain issues.
Yep.
And that to me isn't right. You shouldn't. They're a representative of the people. And they're making more money from the private corporations lobbying than they are from. So based on that, who would you vote for if you were making money from the corporation? Go ahead.
I would debate whether or not they're actually making money, actual cash flow.
Okay.
I think that they're solidifying their place in Congress or in the bureaucracy. I think that's probably what they're doing. I don't think that it's as simple as making money. And I think that honestly, that's realistic, right? That's not out there. It's
totally realistic. And they get the money in campaign funds, which is better to them than pussy could ever be, right? Okay. And so they get that.
Because when they get out of office, they get the same pay forever until they die, and that's stupid.
Exactly. Okay. Total agreement there. But not only that, but when they get done, they can go and work as a lobbyist, and because of their connections, they know they're going to have that cash flow coming in. So they're not working for the people because they're making more working for the corporations. And I think that giving them
that doesn't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I want to hear what you're saying.
Corporations' main goal is to what? To make a profit. Period. That is the reason a corporation exists, is to make a profit. And so when people say that they can't believe that corporations would shit on people, it's like, well, you're completely ignoring the entire existence of them. This is why they are around. It's like the alien is around from Alien versus Predator, right? The alien is around is to fucking mate, breed, and kill motherfuckers, okay? So the whole reason why a corporation exists is to profit. They don't give a shit about your family. They don't give a shit about your fucking health care. And you shouldn't expect them to, because that is not what they're around for. And so I just think giving them more influence and giving the ability to walk up to a representative.
No. Hold on. There's one thing you said that I have to go ahead and point out. I do not advocate giving corporations more influence, because my entire perspective is to minimize the ability of government to force you to do anything. So if you minimize the ability of government to force you to do anything, you automatically limit the ability of corporations to influence laws that will force you to do anything.
All right, I get that. But then at the same time, though, if that's what you're spreading, I feel like you should be against Citizens United. I feel like it's contradictory. If you think that corporations are having too much influence now, why would you just give them more?
But that's the thing. It's not about corporations, because the only thing corporations can do is try to persuade you to purchase their products, or use government to give their product an advantage against other competing products.
Right. Well,
corporations don't have
the market enough to get the cheapest price, and then you manipulate the wages enough to make people make less money, and then they have to buy your cheaper product.
Well, you're talking about multiple things here, so let's stay on topic here. Because you threw three different things in there with manipulation of wages, which is they don't manipulate wages. Wages are set on the market, and then you talked about manipulating you into purchasing products, but they're not manipulating you into purchasing products. They're offering a product, and the American people make a decision whether or not they want to purchase those products.
Let's be honest, dude. Let's be honest. I mean, I go to work every fucking day. I make dick jokes for a living, and they're all bad. And I do everything I do mediocre, and I make a mediocre wage, and that's fine. But here's the thing. I want to buy local. I buy local as much as I can. If I could afford it, I'd do it all the fucking time. But I have a kid. I'm a single mom with a dick bag dude that doesn't pay child support and hasn't seen his kid in 7 years. So it's just me helping this kid out and my network that I have around me. I have to buy his clothes at Walmart. I have to, because it's the cheapest place to buy them. I buy them at Walmart and Goodwill. That's where I go. I have to do it.
Listen, we're getting real deep. Like these conversations that we're having right now, this will be weeks worth of discussions.
Totally.
Because we've already moved off the topic of Citizens United. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have. But so getting back to that one point, Citizens United, the Supreme Court, and I am not the guy that's going to say that the Supreme Court should be the be-all, end-all about what the law of the land is.
Right.
I think that the Supreme Court, whether it be the Supreme Court or the legislature or even to some extent the executive, even though I don't believe the executive should have nearly the expansive power that it's had for the past 100 years. But that being said, the Supreme Court, in the case of Citizens United, I believe they were right, because what the point was if you have assets, it is wrong for the federal government to say that you cannot use those assets to further your political perspective, whether it be Citizens United or whether it be MoveOn.org. And I tell you what, from the Democrat perspective, who love to attack the Koch brothers or Koch brothers or whatever. Is it Koch or Koch? Because I thought they were the Koch brothers because they own the Coca-Cola company, right? It's Koch.
Right, they're the Koch brothers. Yeah, they buy really weird things too. They buy cool shit. They buy like Billy the Kid, Wild West, like paraphernalia. If I was a billionaire, the shit I would spend my money on, kind of stuff. But then they pump their money into yeah. Well, and you know what? And here's the thing, Phil. I wouldn't have a problem with it expanding your political ideas. I totally for that. My issue is that they spend their money on or on ads that are complete lies. It's all lies. None of it's fact. It's it's a small 10% nugget of or 90% bullshit. Fuck you.
You know what?
As long as
I would need reference to watch any of, because I don't pay a whole lot of attention to who's putting out ads, to be honest with you, because I really do personally, I do a lot of looking for information on the internet, and I don't I watch MSNBC more than anything else. I watch Morning Joe every morning. And I sit there and
fear-mongering.
What?
They fear-monger on that network, dude. It's harsh.
Well, both of them do. Both Fox is a little more, like, people go ahead and talk crap about Fox, and specifically the nighttime lineup, but Fox runs so many, like, feel-good pieces, like, they run this puppy got adopted, and it's just, there's so much fluff on Fox, and it's annoying, and I don't like most of the perspective that I see on MSNBC, but I really like watching people talk about serious politics.
Right.
Watching Fox is like, it's like, oh, well, there was a rainstorm here, and then a puppy, got picked up by the local guys, and it was
and
cool, and everybody went home and smiled,
and burned it alive.
You know what? Genuinely, I tell you what, if you watch Fox News, the way they criticize Obama and compare it to the opposite side of the coin, the way that MSNBC just holds him up and just propagandizes for him, it is two sides of the same coin.
And you know what? And that's one of my main things I want to prove here with us talking is that, everybody, Obama's liberal agenda, that asshole. Well, from a liberal's point of view, he's not a fucking liberal, and I could not be more irritated with 95% of the shit that's happened in this administration. The problem with people that criticize him, there's so much criticism over shit that he isn't responsible for that you have to weed that out, and it's like, why don't we rip on him for the shit that he really needs to be held accountable for? Because accountability doesn't do anybody any good if you're pointing the finger at the wrong person. Right?
Well, I agree. And I mean, my personal perspective is it's not about Obama or Bush or, any president, because the executive shouldn't have the expansive power that the executive does have now.
Right.
I mean, that's not the way that our government was formed. That's not what people talk, you see on TV, the talking heads complaining about Congress, and Congress has such a low approval rating.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is Congress doesn't make the American people happy. But what they're leaving out is what is going to make the American people happy? Because there is a certain segment of the American people that like the fact that nothing's been done. Because Congress as the federal. Hold on. No. Hold on. You got to listen. There are big ideas that are coming out, so you got to let me get them out.
I got it.
You got to let me get them out. So, Congress, federal law, is not supposed to be expansive. Federal law is supposed to be limited. You're supposed to have a federal government that has certain basic functions, but is not supposed to pass blanket laws. Immigration reform's been talked about a lot on TV. And an immigration law that is effective in, Arizona or pertains to Arizona and their situation is going to have nothing to do with the situation in Massachusetts.
Right.
So why should the federal government pass a blanket law? It should be state by state, which is why we have the 10th Amendment. States' rights.
Right.
You know, states are supposed to apply laws to themselves, and that's what fucking Washington State and Colorado have done. And they told the federal government, go fuck yourself.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and not prosecute people for smoking pot. Because you know what? It's not that big of a fucking deal. So you know what? Keep your fucking DEA out of our state.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I totally fucking get that. I totally get that. But I feel like there needs to be some at least fucking bare bones laws, or we're going to have motherfuckers, no offense, because I know how the southern people get, but we're going to have fucking Mississippi allowing slavery if we start doing states' rights. Fuck the federal government. We all make our own rules. I hate all you motherfuckers. Like, seriously, we can't.
Well, I tell you, Dee, listen, I tell you what, considering the United States is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that managed to get rid of slavery via a war, if you believe the national narrative, every single other Western society, that is European countries that moved over to the northern or southern hemisphere of the Americas, you know, North or South America, every single country that had the institution of slavery abolished it without a war. Okay? The United States is the only one that did. So you know what? That only proves the point that the Civil War wasn't about slavery.
It was about money.
It was about keeping the Union. It was about keeping the Union together.
Fuck that. It was about money. It was all. Well, okay, all right. About keeping the Union together and money. Money played a huge influence on there. Them big fucking plantations and Southern pride, Southern heritage. None of that would be anything without slavery. America wouldn't be anything without slavery, and we need to acknowledge that first and foremost, right? Don't we? Come on. And it was really fucked up too. It was really fucked up.
Well, I mean, it was slavery especially from a libertarian's perspective. Slavery is the most heinous crime that you can commit against another individual.
Is it worth?
I mean, the idea that. Excuse me?
Would you go to war for it though? Like, if you were fighting against it, with a libertarian stance, would you go to war to fight against slavery?
To fight against slavery?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna, it depends on your perspective as a libertarian. Are you a nonviolent libertarian? Are you, an activist libertarian? Well, I mean, you're not a libertarian if you invoke violence. But I mean, to force other states, sovereign nations at the time, to stay in the Union, you wouldn't do that as a libertarian.
Okay.
Because the states had sovereign rights. Now, slavery is not right in any way. Like, that's not, like, to equate the rights of a state to self-government and say that if you back self-government of a state, then you back slavery. That's a really, really bad misdirection.
Right. I wasn't saying that at all. Because I just know there's the anti-war stance of libertarians, right? Don't want to get involved in anybody else's shit.
Absolutely.
And if you're having states' rights, you need to acknowledge there's different geographical there's differences of opinions depending on where you're at. And there just might be the ability for that to happen. So it's just kind of a clarification, like, where are we at with this? And if we're gonna, your whole.
Well, when it comes to the Civil War, the Southern states had the right to secede from the Union.
Right.
They didn't have the right to enslave anyone. They never had that right, even though they did it. They never had that right to do it. And no one has the right to enslave people. Like, that's
a liberal. We would go to war with them to free the people. I think that might be the difference there.
Well,
a little bit.
Well, that's because liberals are just as adamant about using violence as conservatives.
All we want to do is hack people up into a bunch of piles of bodies and burn them. That's really all we want to do. Hitler was a leftist. He wasn't like the Nazis weren't on the right; they were on the left. They hated anarchists. And anarchists are not anarchists are not Nazis. No matter what people tell you, anarchists and Nazis could not be any further away from each other. Yeah, you know what? Let's just stop. Let's just stop with the whole. The Nazi is the new N-word for me. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm done with it. I'm done with Hitler coming up in fucking online arguments.
All right. So then is fascism okay?
Like as far as a word or an idea?
Well, the philosophy of fascism.
No.
That's not okay?
No.
Like, that's not okay to talk about?
Well, it's totally okay to talk about. Is it okay to fucking enforce and do? No.
No, okay, all right. So then, all right, we're on the same page. Yes. Well, I mean, so then fascism was, I mean, the Nazi perspective was a fascist perspective. They aligned with Mussolini. Mussolini, you know, was an advocate for state control. You know, he was an advocate for you know, government seizing the means of production. So fascism is really what it comes down to when it comes to the progressive idea. I mean, progressives, whether it be, you know, Roosevelt or either of the Roosevelts or, you know, Mussolini, they all had the same perspective, which is that the government should be allowed to select, you know, use the selective benefits of government to encourage what they considered positive lifestyles, and to suppress negative lifestyles.
Right.
And back in the day, it was, you know, they weren't into Catholics. I think Protestants were the chosen religion, and if you were in the United States, I mean, Woodrow Wilson and his progressive agenda, you know, getting us into World War I, which, you know, unquestionably provided the scenario for World War II.
Right.
I mean, the progressive agenda has caused more death than any conservative agenda, save for religious conservatives.
Dude, here's the whole thing. It's for me. It's so hard for me. I call myself a libertarian because I honestly believe. You guys have the right idea. This is our fucking goal. Our goal is to make everybody self-sufficient and, you know, totally armed and ready to go for life. You know, and armed in every way possible. Information, everything, right? But we're not going to get there by abolishing all the aid that we have going out to people. You can't get rid of food stamps and expect nothing to happen. You can't. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like the way to get there, and I understand where you're coming from with the fascism from the left and the government ideas, but that's always taking it to the extreme. Like, I honestly feel like I'm a liberal with nobody. Me and Elizabeth Warren, I think, might be on the same page a little bit. But it's this idea of trying to control guns. I don't like that.
Yuck.
I hate that. I totally hate it because our message isn't getting through anyway. So just abandon it and find another one that works better. Education for me works better. You educate people about guns, the end result is going to be more amazing than abolishing them by all means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there we are. We're not following our format either. Like, we're totally purging right now. I feel like we're a bunch of bulimics.
This is what the first. I mean, we have to set the boundaries, or not boundaries, but, you know, get a real good understanding of each other's perspective. You know, because I mean, I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, well, Dee will just throw you in jail because you said faggot or whatever, and she'll be like, oh, well, they'll just want you to have a whole bunch of nuclear weapons in your cellar. You know, so
something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines.
So, well, should we move along? Let's move along. I wanted to talk about just the epic failure that the healthcare.gov website has been. And it's disappointing for me. You have to understand it's disappointing for me because I believe in universal health care. I don't think that Obamacare is by any means the end-all, be-all. I don't think it's the best plan ever. I think that we got a good idea of what happens when you're constantly sabotaged. Here's what you get, a pile of shit. So let's all eat it and fucking make the best of it. But there was some pretty good late-night comedy that came out of it. I don't know if you watch any of these shows at all, but Jimmy Kimmel did an amazing skit.
Hello, and welcome to healthcare.gov, the place where you can learn about signing up for affordable healthcare. Your application is very important to us. Right now, there are 8 million people ahead of you in line. Your estimated wait time is forever.
It would be ironic to die while waiting on hold for health insurance, right? And who wouldn't want to die ironically?
Did you watch Morning Joe this morning when Mika tried to call in? And she got through in like 7
yeah, and she got in a minute, yeah.
And then
I'll tell you what, she definitely threw a party in the green room after that. She was like, thank God, thank God, thank God. Holy crap, did I really just put myself out on a limb? I mean, if you listen, you listen to Joe talk, and to me, Joe is not. I mean, he's a statist Republican. I mean, he's not a rhino, because I think that all Republicans are, statists in general.
Yeah. The allegiance to a letter back. So.
Yeah, calling him a rhino is like Republican in name only. Well, you know what? Being a Republican isn't really all that sweet either, so it's not like you're insulting him from my perspective.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and use the government to make people do some stuff. Well, you're still just a statist, and it's not about, Republicans versus Democrats, except in Washington, But you could just see Mika, like anytime Joe would be criticizing the Affordable Care Act, Mika would just sit there. As soon as Ted Cruz wasn't the top story, she was like, God damn it. God damn it. Oh, God, I want to kill myself, because now we have to talk about the fact that the federal government can't really do anything well the first time.
But it wasn't the federal government making the fucking website. That's what I say. I mean, it was who they hired. And without a doubt, I'm sure they hired somebody's buddy to do it. So I get it. I understand that the federal government, in general, it sucks at doing shit.
Because you know what? We don't have Google right in California, right? Because Google isn't an American company. Let's go ahead and pick another company. Let's not pick the best of the best, considering we're the federal government and we have access to them all. Because we already throw our weight around with fucking tax policy and shit, but we can't go ahead and be like, hey, Google, we'll pay you a competitive rate. Figure it out for us. Let's pick another company. Jesus.
My friend can make us this website for like $100 and some joints. So we're going with that guy. I feel like that's what happened. I really do. But instead of $100, it ended up being triple the fucking budget, right? And for a shit website.
Yeah.
But you can call your fingers, can dial a fucking phone. There's an idea. And you get through in less than a minute. So there you go. Part of me is like,
hold on. Mika got through in less than a minute this morning at 6 a.m. Let's see what happens when, normal folk are up. Because that's 6 a.m. on the East Coast, which is 3 a.m. in L.A. So, let's get a little perspective here.
So wake up, you lazy bastards wanting free health care. Wake up early and dial the phone.
Are you kidding? Oh, man. I'm not even getting into that one. Jesus Christ.
I think Jon Stewart actually summed it up best for all of us on the left. We're having the worst. We're licking our wounds all week.
Yes, apparently the healthcare.gov website has 99 problems, but a glitch is all of them. So what are we talking about here? A few page freezes?
Many who want to sign up are having trouble logging on.
Okay, so the first step doesn't work. Well, I have a feeling after that it's smooth sailing.
Confusing error messages, broken calculators.
The calculator doesn't work? The one thing that's been included in computers since 1972? You couldn't make that work? What, is the only thing that the calculator does is spell out the word boobs no matter what you plug into it? How does the calculator not work? Give it to us straight.gov. How bad is it?
That's a success rate of less than 10%.
Oh, my God. Less than 10%. How bad is that? 20% is the number of dentists who recommend sugared gum.
dude, seriously. It's brutal.
20% is the number of dentists who recommend sugared gum.
Oh, yeah. And my other favorite poll that came out this week was that more people hate Congress than hate Nickelback, dude, which that's shameful right there, dude.
I couldn't cut it as a poor man.
You don't. People don't hate Nickelback nearly as much as they say they hate Nickelback because a lot of people buy Nickelback records.
Fucking shit, I know. I have this argument all the fucking time. I'm like, all of you mock them, but you're fucking buying the concert tickets. They sell out. They're one of the few bands in our format selling CDs now. So fuck all of you and your blanket. It's the punk guy that isn't really punk rock. Fuck you. Rant over.
Oh, you know what? Punk rock is just like the biggest pussy going right now.
I don't know what happened to punk, dude. It's not dead. We're just retired.
No, punk rock became the Democratic Party. Look at Tom Morello.
I hate you so hard right now.
I know, right?
I love Tom Morello. That was when I met him, that was one of my favorite things ever. And guess what? I met him at the Labor Temple, and I was surrounded by a bunch of union people. You would have been disgusted.
Yeah, I know. Fucking, that's got to be great, surrounded by a bunch of union people. You know what happens when I go to New York and I have to work with union people? They yell at me because I walk across the stage.
I do.
No bullshit. You can't walk across the union stage for unknown reasons. Like if you're a guitar player and you're playing at the Nokia Theater in Times Square and like they've let the doors open, you can't go out on stage and even with the blinds closed, like they have like curtains, you can't walk on the stage and get your guitar because the union says no, you can't.
We go through that.
Can someone please explain?
We go through that too.
Can someone fucking explain it?
Because you guys played band camp, and this year we had there's a music school and a film school in Madison, and they were out filming for it, but you couldn't film anything that was happening while a band was playing. No stage intros, nothing, nothing, no talking in the middle. You could film the crowd as long as there wasn't a song playing or whatever, even if it was just snippets. And they were just doing a documentary about band camp, including the setup and including the union in it. But because of the union rules, they couldn't do it. And, we couldn't even do interviews on tape while there was a band playing in the background. It was ridiculous.
And who gets hurt? Who gets hurt?
I know. Hey, man.
The bands, you guys, and the fans.
Yep.
Because the union says we don't want this for some unknown reason.
But when you say this is where I have this problem. You say the union, but the union makes people think of, okay, the whole entire group of people working there. But all the workers there could give two shits. So what it is there's one person with one interest, and he's available to make. It's just the same way that it works with corporations taking over our representatives, essentially, right? So that it was in one person's best interest that this doesn't happen, and that's how it became a union rule. And there we are, the corruption within the union.
And no, we come back to the same perspective. Why do we allow the government to make decisions for us based on special interests, whether they be the Koch brothers, Koch brothers, or unions, or whatever?
But I have less of an issue with unions donating money than corporations, and here's why. Because a union represents hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. And whereas a corporation
who are forced to be in the union when they
and
like
that
it
should
not.
Be, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. You're absolutely right. I think it should be an opt-in thing, without a doubt. Because you shouldn't be forced to contribute funds for an idea you don't agree with. I completely understand that. But I don't agree with not allowing the unions to exist at all. I think that's bullshit. I think you should be able to, if you want to do it, do it. And
yep.
And a corporation.
But if that happened, the union's power would be significantly minimized. Because if you allow free people to make the free decision, it's the same result, whether it be unions or government.
Right. Well, if you eliminate that whole the mandatory donating or funds to the union, whatever it is, what do they call it? Fees that are attached to your paycheck or whatever.
Yep.
If you eliminate that, it's the same thing as getting the private money out of politics, right? You're going to eliminate the union boss that has a $350,000 home that doesn't work on the floor anymore, which eliminates all the corruption within the unions, which is what the unions have been battling with for a long time. And I know, I've been there. I was fucking marching with the workers against Tom Walker or Scott Walker. I know. I fucking know what they go through.
That was such a bad idea. You should have let him. You should have been down there being like, you know what, unions, go screw yourselves.
No, because here's the thing: there's people that want to be in them, and I'm not gonna advocate against that.
They want to
like the idea of us being.
Well, they want to be in. They want to be in there, but that doesn't mean that they have the right to force anyone else to be in there, and that's the whole point of unions.
I agree.
Unions don't have power unless they have everybody in there. So what's the point of even having a union?
And here's the thing. I wasn't going to march with him based on saving the unions. I wasn't going to do that. And the reason why I did it is because he was disobeying blatant, like it was parliamentary procedure that's been in place since our state came to be, that he was disobeying all of that. And I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the corruption. And look at how many of his fucking staff have ended up in jail. They've been stealing from veterans. He's a piece of shit, and he's not a dude to identify with at all. He's just another fucking scuzzbag in the goddamn corporate government fucking stupid Republican Democrat machine. That's all it is. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the truth. But again, I mean, we still come back to this. I mean, and I kind of figured this was going to happen a whole bunch with us debating and talking and stuff. Is it really comes down to a fundamental difference in what the solution is.
Right.
You can't have a government. And this comes back to stuff that Jefferson used to say. You can't have a government strong enough to take care of you and then expect it to not have the power to take everything you have. You know what I mean? And that's paraphrasing, but you can't let the government have control over you. You can't let the government have power to say, you have to do this, you know? I mean,
like we need
because if you give anyone that power,
it goes back to we need to have a skeleton, at least, of an idea of these are the basic standards that we stick to in this country. This is what our ideas are, our unified beliefs, and then give the states the rights to, you know, kind of expand on that. But there's got to be some sort of framework.
Fair enough, but so taking what you just said, a skeleton, that's fair enough, and that's something that I can totally get behind. But does the federal government resemble anything like a skeleton? Because to me, it looks like a bloated pig.
And that's the whole thing. And like that idea where liberals want more government, we don't. We just want better government. We want government that works better. We really do. We don't want to get rid of it. We think that the idea of it is fantastic. The idea of it working as it should with a representative that actually represents their constituents, you know, the ideas from their area.
Well, you know what? I want to be able to fly. So can we pass a law for that? Because it would be awesome if I didn't have to get on the bus in 2 days and I could just fly.
Dude, you can buy a jetpack, motherfucker. You got the money. You can do it.
No. No, people don't buy enough records for me to buy a jetpack. But and even so, like a jetpack. Listen, you have the rainstorm I just had and wash your entire driveway out and tell me how much woe is me. 6 foot deep in a fucking in a dirt driveway, and I got to fill that shit in. Anyways, a point being, the reason that libertarians are anti-government is not because the idea of government being a successful endeavor is bad. It's because the reality of government being a successful endeavor is bad. It never happened. I mean, look at healthcare, or, you know, the NSA, or, you know, the IRS targeting political groups, or because it wasn't like the IRS wasn't like, the media was saying, oh, they're targeting conservative groups. But then the liberals said, oh, well, they're targeting some of us and blah, blah, blah. And that really shows, even though liberal groups don't want to say things that would slight the government because they believe in a more powerful centralized government than your average conservative group, they still acknowledge that the federal government was looking at them. And the point is, it's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's government versus people that disagree.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that, well, maybe I understand where you're coming from. I completely understand why you have those ideas, without a doubt. But I believe Republican, Democrat, people are fighting over scraps, essentially. What's happening is, they have us fighting over, essentially, the topics we're going to cover tonight: gay marriage and abortion. Abortion is
that's like,
right.
Okay, abortion is a little bit tough for me because I'm not a woman and I'm never going to be pregnant.
Good. So
when it comes to gay, like, yeah, like, because even if I decided that I wanted to, have a sex change, I could never have the plumbing, because we haven't figured that out yet. But
so you'd be too much of a pussy to handle what happens, so it's not a big deal. Go ahead.
Probably. I'd be like, oh, my vagina hurts. But
I reserve
the whole gay marriage thing. Like, the whole gay marriage thing, like, what the fuck? Come on. Like, the only people that don't want gay people to be able to be married are people that believe in an invisible person that hears when they talk to themselves and is going to change the entire structure of the universe for them if they believe, or if the invisible person agrees with them. And then if the invisible person doesn't agree with them, the person asking the invisible person to change all of the structure of the universe is going to say, well, he didn't agree, so that's okay. Are you fucking serious?
I had no idea you were an obnoxious atheist. I love this.
Oh, dude, come on. Seriously? Could you possibly, I understand people that, I understand people that are like, oh, I'm a constitutionalist. That makes sense to me. I understand people that say I'm a traditionalist, and I like the traditions of our country. That makes sense to me. People that say the invisible guy that you can't see said that I should tell you that you can't do that because he doesn't like it. Come on, think of that.
Easy, dude.
The invisible guy.
I know.
You can't do that, so I'm going to go ahead and do everything I can to make sure that you don't do that in your bedroom when I can't see it because the invisible guy said it.
All right.
Really?
I agree with you. I just have a huge issue with I have a hard time mocking people's faith because I know it legitimately hurts them, and I can't do that. And but here's what I say: you believe what you want to believe. But the second you start dictating like what I need to decide in my life based on your faith, that's when I have a fucking issue. You go ahead and dictate your decisions and your family the way you want to do it, and but for you to want to pay a representative based on
Westboro Baptist Church deserves to be mocked.
Right.
And that is only the leading edge of extremism, because in America you can't have real extremists. They get weeded out pretty quickly. Like, not real ones. Like, the news will tell you that, the Tea Party, they're extremists, or libertarians, they're extremists, or, anarchists, they're extremists, or, liberals, these really far liberals, they're extremists. They'll throw that word around, and that cheapens the word. You know who's an extremist? The guy that buries a woman up to her waist or up to her chest in the ground and throws stones at her until she's dead because she got raped. That's an extremist.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that Ted Cruz is an extremist. The guy that would blow up an abortion clinic, that guy's an extremist.
Right, totally. And Ted Cruz is an idiot. He doesn't belong in this equation at all, or this discussion at all. But this is my whole thing, is that this is what they have us arguing over.
Hold on, I just want to clarify. I want to clarify one thing with what you just said. I don't think Ted Cruz is that much of an extremist. I think that he is not an idiot, and we can discuss this later, just so we're on the same page. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with his perspectives, but I don't think he's an idiot, and I don't think that he is.
All I have to say is I do not like green eggs and ham. Sam, I am.
All right. We can leave this for later.
the fucking Senate floor. I'm just saying it's a little absurd. But going back to the whole gay marriage thing, I would prefer an atheist nation by all means. But I'm a totally tolerant atheist. I say I'm a small A atheist because I grew up around a shitload of Catholics. It's the quickest way to make an atheist, right? And so I
an altar boy.
Okay, there we go. And here we are, right?
Wait a minute. I didn't say I got raped. I just said I was an altar boy. Take it easy, all right? With your implications.
These weird fantasies you have are just fucking creepy. I don't even know.
Me.
I don't even know.
Like I don't understand sarcasm.
What? I don't.
What?
Totally lost this conversation. But
So anyways, go on.
I thought the libertarian point of view was that government shouldn't be involved in marriage and all. And my whole point of view is that who the fuck is getting married? Why are you fucking getting married anyway? And secondly, like the state shouldn't be involved. You shouldn't get a tax break for it because you're getting punished enough anyway being stuck with one in person.
Listen, genuinely, you don't get a tax break. Okay? When you get married, there is this thing called the marriage penalty, and it's a real fucking thing. Believe me, I got married in August of last year.
Oh, really?
Hold on. Yeah, believe me, there is a real fucking thing called the marriage penalty. Yeah.
I bet you look real nice in your dress, Phil.
I did. I was looking sweet. The hottest I've ever looked, and probably the hottest I'm ever going to look.
Fucking heels really made your calves look amazing.
You know, I tell you what, heels aren't so bad. I'm not all that tall. But you know, like I mean, I don't regret getting married, but believe me, the tax stuff that we've done, between me and my wife, it's a significant penalty. Significant penalty. So you know what? Let the gay people get married and pay that fucking penalty too, because I don't want to fucking own it. Not my idea.
See, now, and then that's, I like that part of the libertarian stance where it's like the government shouldn't have anything to do with who you sleep with, which is why I find it weird that some of the libertarians identify with some of the Tea Party people who are not, and I get because it's the anti-tax thing that you guys all agree on, the smaller government, but they say small government, small government, small government in the Tea Party, but at the same time, those are the people that are all like, oh, fags, hate the gays, no abortion. So it's like, contrary to the libertarian message, don't you? Do you feel like the Tea Party that way? I don't look at Tea Party specific stuff. Like I look at small government stuff. I tend to go to like Reason Magazine, Reason.com, and Tom Woods and Lou Rockwell, who's as anarcho-capitalist as you can get. Lou Rockwell is straight up ANCAP, and he hates the government, and so it's a good place, and it's a good place to go to get perspective, to be honest with you, because if you watch Fox and MSNBC, all of the major news outlets, they are as pro-government as someone like Lou Rockwell is anti-government. Okay.
So if you go ahead and you listen to both sides, you can kind of find where a real middle ground is, because you hear the talking heads on TV and they say, oh, well, the Tea Party's so extreme and they're not looking for middle ground. But you hear, I mean, is Chris
on? They are.
No, take it easy. Calm yourself. Hold on. Well, I mean, are you comparing him to Chris Christie? Is Chris Christie really, really right to you? Are you kidding me? Because that guy is as close to left as you can get and still wear an R.
But you look like you look at Chris Christie. They rejected him because he was too moderate, and that's my whole thing. I'm all about fucking moderate.
He's not too moderate. He's a straight up liberal. He's a straight up liberal.
You're insane if you think he's a liberal. Seriously, whatever you have, just mail it to me so I can share in on the fucking goods. There's no way.
Kidding me?
Dude, fuck. Oh my God, what? He's so not a fucking liberal. What is Barack Obama? Are you kidding me?
What are the dramatic? Well, Barack Obama's a liberal too, but what are the dramatic differences between some? Well, he's a statist. He's a progressive. I mean, those are the same things.
Of George W. Bush. he could not be any less of a real liberal. It's unbelievable. If he's a real liberal.
George W. Bush is a statist too.
That's Obama is not the liberal you're looking for. Trust me, we're just as pissed off at him as the rest of you are. There is no real liberal.
No.
Besides Elizabeth Warren. Is the only.
Well, there's Elizabeth Warren. Believe me, I lived in Massachusetts for a long time, and Elizabeth Warren is. I really, really, really have nothing good to say about her.
Oh my God,
I don't know her. We've like this is the nicest thing that I can say is I've never met her, and everything that I've ever heard her say I disagree with, and it makes me very angry listening to her. And this is the nicest way I can put it.
Bullshit.
And like I said, I'm from Massachusetts, so I moved out of.
I totally disintegrated you.
Sound effect. Well, listen, I moved out of Massachusetts. I moved to New Hampshire. For anyone that doesn't know or that's listening, I moved to New Hampshire 3 years ago. And the reason I moved to New Hampshire is because I wanted to get the hell out of Massachusetts because of people with ideas like Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, Lord.
See, and that's what happens. That's what happens.
For all the common ground we have, we still have clear differences, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this. This is the gun section we've been looking for. Are you ready? And whip your wiener out.
Hit the target.
Careful there, any opening.
You don't have to be careful. I got a gun.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Guns aren't toys. They're for family protection, hunting dangerous or delicious animals, and keeping the King of England out of your face.
Baby sister, I was born game, and I intend to go out that way.
Assault weapons have gotten a lot of bad press lately, but they're manufactured for a reason.
Loudmouth Radio is proud to present
To take out today's modern super animals.
Bill Jerks Off Onto a Gun.
I own silver.
So this is your time. Phil jerks off onto a gun.
I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, come on. All right. So, do you want to discuss guns?
No, you're supposed to feature a gun.
Or do you want to just talk about a gun that I like?
Yeah, well, because you sell guns. You love them and whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to feature a gun that you want to introduce the people to. Here's an amazing gun that I frequently masturbate about.
Well, here's the deal. Own a gun. If you don't own a gun, then you at least have made your chances of being a victim greater. I know people will say, oh, you shouldn't own a gun because there is a higher probability of an accident in a home with a gun.
Right, shooting someone within your own family is the
well,
that's what they always say.
Uh-oh. We have 90 seconds?
Yeah.
Until we're done?
Yeah.
Oh, well, crap. Just buy a gun. Get something.
Do you want
there we go.
Do you want to plug your gun store while you can? Do you have a website people can go to?
Yeah, check out Highlander Arms on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Highlander Arms. We can get anything you need. We have access. We have access to we can do Form 3s. We can do NFA stuff, short barrel rifles, shotguns, suppressors, machine guns. So yeah.
You sell bongs
That's
there?
fireworks. That's not machine guns. No, we don't sell bongs. Those aren't legal in New Hampshire yet. Soon, though. I tell you what, I hear rumblings.
Yeah,
in Vermont and Massachusetts, they're,
Yep, we got Michigan that's legalized. We say 3 to 5 years here in Wisconsin. So, yep, we're on board with that for sure. Well, dude, we're almost done. This was amazing. We didn't really follow format, but holy shit, we got some ideas out there.
Tell you what, I think the next time that when we talk next week, it's going to be a situation where we're running our face a little bit more because I think we kind of got to figure out our format and stuff. But it was good.
For sure.
It was fun.
It was super fun. We had to get all that out there and kind of establish where we're coming from. So definitely. All right, Jonas, next time on Loudmouth Radio. Thank you so much, Phil. Really appreciate your time.
Take care.